G'day, my name is Tom. This is the Southplace YouTube channel for another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. This is the third episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator that we have recorded. Last time we flew the Cessna 182 in Florida. This time we are jumping into Oregon in the Cessna 152. This is the default 152. I'm starting like a little tutorial series how to fly each aircraft, and we're going to start with Cessnas. So if you go to click on this here, if I search Cessna, excluding the 182 Skyhawk, well, which is not even in here, so ignore that. There is a total of 7 Cessnas, so we'll be flying each one of these, including each variation. So we got the Cessna 152 Vfr Map next week, and then the week after will be the 172 pet, and then after that will be that one. Then the Cessna Citation jets, to see how different each aircraft flies. Then we can say we want to fly it, and then maybe a week after we could say go to like TBM and fly the TBM maybe, I'm not too sure. But yeah, we'll be starting off with some Cessnas today. Our Cessna today is the Cessna 152. As you can see, I've got the Cleek 123 Cessna 152. I don't know if it's Cleek, but I've got a texture pack for this, like a livery pack. And we're flying today November 714 X-ray. That is our tail number that we're going to be flying, and we're going to be flying in the night time because I can't change anything for some reason, unless I turn it off. I'll try to. Yeah, I have to turn it off. Let's go all players, and we're going to go ahead back in a daytime flight because it's easier to see. Then we'll go live weather, but we're going to go about. Let's go about 12 PM, about 10:56 maybe. Go for a nice morning flight in the 172. So that's how we're setting that up today. We are taking off from Portland, Hillsboro in Portland. We are going to be taking parking stand 40, and we are going to be landing on runway 26 at Astoria Regional in the little Cessna 152. Now, I've only flown this aircraft once before, just to see if that's what we want to fly. And this is our first visual flight rules flight. We always fly IFR on the channel because we could, but since this aircraft doesn't have autopilot or anything like that, or GPS or anything like that, we're just going to fly VFR down to Astoria. So let's click fly. Let's see how this happens. So if you do enjoy this sort of video of me teaching you how to fly an aircraft, make sure you hit the like button down below. And if you're stopping by for the first time, please subscribe. And yeah, so this is the second time we've flown a default aircraft. The first aircraft we flew was the Airbus A320neo, which will be doing lots more flights in the A320 in the future, as well as some upcoming aircraft. Now, I'm running this on the new patch of Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's 1.7.14 or something like that. I'll probably put the correct, actually, I can tell you now. It is 1.7.14.0, I got it right. It's, yeah, the newest patch. There's a couple of fixes like crashing issues and better optimization, which I have definitely noticed. It won't lag as much as it did last week, which is good. And yeah, so let's see how this goes. If you see your house here also too, I'd like to say, if you see your house, let me know down in the comments if you see your house, if you live in that area, and I will heart your comment and everything like that when I see that. So let's see how this goes. We'll just wait for the last bit of loading. And if you have flown this aircraft in real life, also let me know in the comments below. Apparently it's a I think it's a pilot school, flight school aircraft maybe. Which would make sense because this aircraft is so easy to fly. I'll teach you how to fly it properly, but it is so easy to fly for a VFR aircraft, which I'm going to consider this, because it's not like say for example it's not like the aircraft we flew last time. You can easily do IFR on those aircraft because you have the G1000. And also the obviously airline and so on, IFR anyway. IFR. I don't think you can fly VFR on them. Yeah, VFR on was it VFR on? Yeah, VFR on Flight Simulator. I mean, not VFR on on in airline and something. I don't think that's possible. Because, I mean, airlines, you fly like 40,000 feet in the air, right? So let's wait for that to finish up here. Wait for this loading, and then we'll get started. So that's the one, so in case you don't know, that's the 172 in the photo. I think most of you will know that. The Cessna 172 is the most popular aircraft ever sold. That's why we'd find out next. We'll be flying the G1000 and the regular version to see what's different about each one. I think the regular one will be flying VFR, whilst the other one will be flying IFR. So we'll be doing a couple of VFR flights over the time. And we also may introduce a popular add-on into this as well. And I'll teach you how to do that stuff. So we'll just wait for the loading. It's taking a while to load. But yeah, we'll do a daytime flight because then we can actually see what the has to offer. Here we go. Welcome to Portland Hillsboro. Pretty basic airport. It may be a little bit blurry, but it's because probably it hasn't downloaded all the deliveries yet, so that's why it's pretty laggy. Do apologise for that. And there's our little Cessna right there. There we go. Now it's smoothed out a little bit. There's our Cessna ones. So our cruise speed is 107 knots true airspeed. We can go up to 14,000 feet in this aircraft. 4,000 feet today. Alright, let's go and click ready to fly. Hope the lag goes away. This is just wait and see. If I go ready to fly, welcome to the cockpit. I'll walk you through it. So the first thing you need to do is press Shift C. Oh, first of all, we're actually going to do a push back really quickly. We're going to push back a little bit. So we'll quickly do that now. So we're going to go ahead and request pushback. What you do is turn the battery on to get access to the radios. There we go. One battery on, and then the alternator, it comes on. And we're going to request pushback. So you press scroll lock on your keyboard. Tune ground. And we're going to request a little push. We don't need a big pushback at all.
Hillsboro ground, Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray requesting pushback. Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray pushback request accepted.
Okay, so we'll just wait for him to do the pushback and then we'll get started. So you press Shift C to open your checklist, or you click up here to your basic controls. Right here. It's still a little bit laggy. It's not going to. It'll be better when we're in the air. So we're just going to push back a tiny bit. We don't need that much pushing back because, I mean, only because we need to avoid that Piper over there. I think it's a Piper. It looks like a Piper Cherokee. No, it's not. No, it's a twin engine. I wonder what that would be. I think that's a Piper Comanche. No, it's not a Comanche. What's the one that has the two engines? I think it is a Comanche, isn't it? Yeah, we'll push back a little bit so we can avoid that aircraft. Or have that as a beach barrier, I'm not too sure. We'll push back a little bit. About here will be fine.
Hillsboro ground, Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray requesting the end of pushback.
Alright, we'll go there.
Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray request to end pushback.
Right, put the parking brake back on. Anyway, so let's get started with the checklist. So we'll turn the battery back off now, so we can do this realistic. So I'll walk you through every step of the aircraft. So first of all, you click on before starting engine. So the first thing you need to do is to go down to, I think it was this view, down here. As you can see, we have this little valve switch here. You've got to flick that to open. So we can tick that item now. Actually, no, we'll evaluate it. So we'll follow that. So we'll open that.
Brakes.
We'll go to test the brakes.
Test and set.
And then it sets it there automatically. So that's the page complete. So that's do fuel shut-off valve, open and test and set. Now we're going to start the engine to get ready for taxi. So if you click on starting engine, we will follow this. So first thing, so I'll just click evaluation.
Mixture.
So they'll call that mixture. You push this in. You push this button in. Make it full rich.
Carburetor heat.
Make sure that's pushed in.
Cold in. Prime.
Right, we're going to prime it 3 times. That's how you prime it. You have to do it very slowly.
Throttle.
Open 1/2 inch. There we go.
Open 1/2 inch. Master switch.
Put the switches on again.
On. Ignition.
Okay, before we start the engine, make sure your area is clear before you start your engine. Which it is. So now we're going to go ahead and start the engine again. So, clear prop. And then flick this to both. And then start.
Start. Throttle.
Oh, why did it start? Hang on.
Just for 1,000 RPM or less. Oil pressure.
There we go.
In green.
I had to hold it for a bit.
Flashing beacon and navigation lights.
There you go. I had to hold it a little bit longer. So it didn't start the first time, but we got there. So we're going to turn the beacon, nav and beacon lights on. Oh, we'll turn that off because it's not night time.
On as required.
And there we go. We have the aircraft running. That's how you start it. It's really easy, as you saw. You may have to hold it a little bit longer. It's going to lower it a tiny bit to adjust for 1,000 RPM. There we go. And just like that, right, we are going to get ready to taxi because we are going to do a VFR. So if you press V, you get your VFR map. I believe it's north regardless, so let's check the heading. Yeah, about north. And we are going to be heading out to the, yeah, technically northeast. So we're going to request taxi to the north. Go back to clearance. We're going to request taxi to the north. So to part north. By pressing 4 on the
Hillsboro ground, Cessna November 714 X-ray with Alpha request taxi for takeoff north departure. Cessna November 714 X-ray taxi to and hold short of runway 31 left using taxiway Bravo.
Okay, we go to taxiway Bravo.
132.8 when ready.
Alright, so to taxi this aircraft, we can take the parking brake off, obviously.
One left using taxiway Bravo Cessna 4 X-ray.
And it just move around about 1,000 RPM. If it's not fast enough for you, and then you can go up to like 1,200 and you can still taxi. So away we go. Let's make sure our altimeter is calibrated. Let's just hide that so we know where we're going. And we follow these blue arrows here. Oh no, there's a plane there. Oh jeez. Pretend that never happened. I didn't see that plane there. I should push back a little bit more. Alright, away we go. We're going to take taxiway Bravo. And let's see how this goes. So yeah, really, you don't need that much power for taxiing your aircraft. The 152, actually, it's pretty good for taxiing at around about 1,000 RPM, as you can see. So we're going to follow the taxiway, and then tune into tower when we get to Fee here. Sorry for the lag. Once again, it will clear up eventually. Yeah, it's clearing up now. It's clearing up every now and then. It's because it's downloading all video data, because I have it on high-end settings. I don't have it on Ultra because I don't think my computer would be able to cope on Ultra, but it's easily able to do it on high, like too easy. Like when we get on the ground, when I was flying yesterday, I kept getting 60 like really good frames per second. I think it's because when I'm recording, it's going to be dropping frames. But yeah, so if it is too laggy, I'm sorry. Nothing I can do about it because I'm using one whole computer to do everything, and my computer is going very, very, very old, I guess you could say. It's because I'm recording it, that's why. Alright, it's smoothed out now, as you can see. It smooths out every now and then when we're on the ground. It's because of all the trees and everything like that. So when I take off, it should be easier on the, it should be easier. Right, we are going to park here. Stop before entering the call tower. Actually, I think that's the run-up area. So we're going to need to go to the second hold short line. Yeah, there we go, that's better. Let's stop lagging now. Anyway, so stop by holding down your brakes. Alright, now we're going to request takeoff clearance, but before takeoff, we'll run it through the before takeoff checklist. Right, so let's run this through now. So the first thing you want to do, set the parking brake. There we go. Fuel shut-off valve is open.
Open. Mixture. Rich below 3
Okay.
feet.
We need to
Strobe.
get to that on.
On. Parking brake.
There we go.
Release.
Alright, now we're ready to call tower. So what you do, I'll just is go to tower, request clearance VFR.
Hillsboro Tower, Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray at runway 31 left, ready for takeoff departure to the north. Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray cleared for takeoff, runway 31 left, departure to the north approved.
Alright, we're cleared for takeoff, so let's go.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 31 left, Cessna 4 X-ray X-ray.
And then we'll run through the normal takeoff checklist, which is a very, very self-explanatory checklist. I'm just going to hide the ATC really quickly whilst I go ahead and taxi to the runway. Apparently it wants me to go this way, but I don't want you to go this way, so I'm going to go and turn around here. Just ignore the arrows for a bit whilst I do the takeoff. I don't know why it wanted me to go this way, but that's alright. Alright. We'll go onto runway 31 left. Let's see how this goes. So we'll go brakes. Leave it like that for a minute. There we go. Carburetor feed leave it cold.
Cold.
Alright. We'll go throttle, fully push, full power.
Elevator control.
Alright. Okay, look. RPMs are under green. There's not really much else to see. Alright, add 50 knots. You slowly lift the nose wheel.
Nose wheel at 50 KIAS.
There we go, we're off the ground. That's how easy it is to take off the aircraft. It's that simple. And it looks like we're heading straight on our purple line here. So now we are going to hand fly the whole thing because there is no autopilot. So this is the first time I've hand flown a plane in a while. Well, second time actually. Okay, now we need to get to 85 knots for our climbing speed. So now we're going to go ahead and just going to adjust my positioning. Now, okay, so we're going to continue our departure.
Hillsboro Tower, Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray continue for north departure.
Yeah. So as soon as I left the airspace, so now we can flick this off. I forgot to do this. Let's flick this onto altimeter, to altitude, because we are in the air. We're in altitude? Yeah, we're on altitude, yeah. So now we're in the air. Now we can pretty much hand fly all the way down 53 miles to the next, okay, our airspeed's above 65 knots. It's 85 knots, isn't it? But yeah. So now we're going to stay around 4,000 feet, so we're just going to keep climbing until we get to 4,000 feet. And yeah, now we're pretty much in the air. So let's talk about this aircraft for a bit. So obviously there's two versions of this in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is the regular version. Next week we'll do a flight in the Aerobat version. See if there's any difference between that aircraft and the regular 152. Now the 152 never had an autopilot. That's why we're flying VFR. So that means the next week we'll be doing a VFR. So now we can actually have a look around at our surroundings. So yeah, I hope you do enjoy this flight. So that's how easy it is to take off. Pretty much our cruising speed is about 100 knots. That's easily done. It's easy to manage this aircraft. That's probably why some flight schools use it. As well, like they use Cessnas, because the Cessnas are very easy to use. So now we're just going to follow our VFR map. So we have to pick line here because there's no GPS in this aircraft to get to our destination, and I can talk to you about how to land this aircraft. Alright, so we're waiting for it. Alright, now we're going to tell her that we're actually changing frequencies.
Hillsboro Tower, Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray frequency change.
Okay, we're contacting Portland approach. We're going to request a flight from
Portland approach, Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray is type Cessna 152 1 miles south of 1 Oscar Romeo tree.
Okay, that's another report over there. We could have landed there, but I want to get a decent video out. Alright, we've got Squawk 2473.
Squawk Cessna 4 X-ray radar contact 1 miles west of 1 Oscar Romeo, tree 2,100 feet. Altimeter tree 0.04.
Okay, there we go. So now they can follow where we're going.
Cessna 4 X-ray.
And then eventually I can go and contact... I need to use my left hand because... to say that we are going to land at that airport. Because if it comes up... oh, you can go really far. Actually, no, we won't worry about that just yet. We'll do that when we're close to the airport, so about... but I just want to see if I can actually get to it. Look how many airports there are. No, we're not in the range yet. We're not in the range yet, so we're now going to continue flying. Yeah, so we're just going to go up to like 4,000 feet. But yeah, this is the annoying thing. This aircraft you have to hand fly, unlike most aircraft that you're probably used to flying, like an Airbus or a Boeing, for example. Most of the time, I think 98% of the time, it's only the takeoff and landings that they hand fly, just like in any general aviation aircraft, unless they don't have autopilot. But 98% of the time they use autopilot. It's only the 2% which is due 1% takeoff, 1% landing. Like, there's no way in hell that there's going to be an autopilot that can do So yeah, we're going to stay around 4,000 feet. Then we can have a look around Oregon. So this is Oregon here. As you can see, we've got lots of farmland there. Probably growing potatoes and whatnot, because that's what they do in Oregon. And yeah. So we're going to start talking about some news in terms of, obviously, the flight simulator news, as well as some YouTube news, I guess you could say. So we're going to start with some of our flight sim news. Obviously, the big news this week is the patch is finally out, like the day one sort of patch, because Microsoft wants more people to play Microsoft Flight Simulator, and since people can't do it because of hardware issues or anything like that, so they've introduced lots of optimizations and crashing issues in terms of the download issues and everything like that people have been having. I've never had an issue with the downloading, even though it took me about a day. It took me about a day to, so yeah, we're going to keep climbing to about 4,000 feet, then we're just going to let it hold at 4,000 feet. So yeah, there's obviously some crashing issues with the downloading. Also, TBM had some issues. I flew TBM last week. And we'll be definitely doing a TBM flight soon. You better guess what our tail number is going to be for that one, if you know what I mean. We're doing one of those flights. And yeah, and there's also some new DLC coming out from DC Engineering. There's going to be a couple of fighter jets coming, and you bet that's going to be coming. Is it DC Engineering or DC Studios? One of the two. We're flying a little bit higher than what we tend to be doing. But yeah, that is very cool. So there's also a bombardier coming from Aerosoft, a Bombardier CRJ700. It's going to be arriving by the end of this year, apparently, I'm very excited for that. Some more airliners coming because we're waiting for the PMDG 737 to come out still. But yeah, so that's that. There's a lot of news coming to the Microsoft Flight Simulation. Also, too, we've also heard about, obviously, too, having the London DLC coming out very soon, and you bet you are, so I'll be checking that out. By the way, tomorrow's video will still be OBSI. Okay, tomorrow's video will still be OBSI. Which we'll be doing, doing a DLC bus, maybe. And then we'll be, because I'm wanting to do some more manual transmission buses in my series. In case you don't know, I'm doing a series on obviously, I'm not going to let go and it can stay fly. No, I need to apply a little bit of pressure on the stick so it can stay level. That's what you do. You have to stay. You may have to leave a little bit of pressure. I'm not going to worry about leading out or anything like that. I'm not that experienced with mixture. I could lead it out myself, but I think it will tell me if I need to. I'll just press Control X and see if it does anything. Let's just go and check. Yeah, it'll be alright. It'll be alright. yeah, so yeah, obviously Tuesday getting the bus DLC. I don't know why we're not climbing, bro. We're fine. We're cruising. I'm happy being at 5,000 feet. I think we're at 5,000 feet. Yeah, 5,000 feet will be a good one. So if you live in this area in Oregon, let me know down in the comments below if you see your house on this flight. This is not the same way the actual flight I was looking at when they actually went like did a wide turn. I think they were learning about turning or something like that. The student pilot that flew this plane last. And yeah, now we're about 42 miles away from the airport. Let's see if I can contact the tower yet. Okay. If we can, we will contact the tower. Because we're going to be landing. So we're going to Kilo Alpha Sierra Tango. So if you see that. Because we're about 40 miles away from it. No, we don't see it yet. At least I don't think so. Because we're going to be contacting them and they're going to guide us to landing. But yeah. So that was just continuing. So, but yeah, so that's very cool. I cannot wait for what's to come for this game. There's lots of potential this game has in terms of the third-party add-ons and everything like that. Kind of like always like the previous games. There's like millions of things that you get from Microsoft Flight Simulator 10 and P3D, and yeah. All right, so that's pretty much. So yeah, we expect a lot of things coming before the end of the year. That's pretty much that. So now we're going to talk about some of the automotive YouTube. So in case you don't know, my channel is mainly focused on like automotive simulators. So we're going to talk about some of the automotive YouTubers, and we're going to start with the biggest news ever. 2 YouTubers have just bought hypercars. That is Daily Driven Exotics with his McLaren P1, and the Stradman with his Bugatti or however you say it, Veyron. That is very excited to see that he's finally got his hypercar after a few months in the making of trying to find the right car. He kept mentioning that he wasn't going to buy Bugatti Veyron at the start of this year. And it eventually happened. Lots of people were disappointed because they wanted to see a P1, but really, it's his choice. I'm very proud of him. I always loved the Bugatti Veyron. I say Bugatti, but yeah, but I always loved the Veyron for what it is. In terms of Top Gear, like most notably is from Top Gear when James May Richard rented one of these, flew across Europe. And Jeremy Clarkson was in the Bugatti Veyron racing through Europe. That's one of the most memorable Top Gear episodes I've watched. I pretty much watched all of them too, apart from the new seasons, because the new seasons are junk. But I've watched pretty much all of them. And yeah, so that's good to know that that's great. Congratulations to James. I've been following him since he only had the Gallardo and the Jeep Wrangler. He only had 2 cars when I started watching him. Now he has the Bugatti Veyron, the Lamborghini Aventador, the Gallardo. Still, it's good to see that he still has his first supercar with his latest supercar, which is absolutely amazing, which is still getting to a turbo in Chicago. And he actually got the first startup of it a couple of days ago, which is good. And it sounds amazing. Apart from the cold start sounded a little bit... I don't know if that was the cold start, that might have been a warm start, but it didn't sound as dramatic as the NA Gallardo, or whatever he had titanium exhaust on it, or whatever it is. It didn't sound that dramatic. So he's going to be getting the Gallardo back next month, which I'm excited to see that next to the Bugatti. So he's got the Gallardo, the Aventador, the Veyron, the Ferrari 458, the Jeep Gladiator, and the Ford Raptor. He owns 6 vehicles now. 2 outside vehicles and 4 for the garage, which is pretty good. Which is going to be interesting when the Gallardo comes home. He might have to probably park a car in someone else's garage. Probably Johnny's garage, who's his neighbour. So that's very, very interesting. If you haven't subscribed to Stradman yet and you're into automotive YouTube, please go do so. He just bought one of the most iconic hypercars out there. probably one of the first cars to have 1,000 horsepower from the factory. And yeah, he did a video like doing his first drive. He was explaining like what happened with the cops because he had his first first place encounter with the cops. Well, place encounter with the Veyron, and they flashed the lights, and then he turned off the freeway, and then turned off the lights, which was very interesting story. So if you want to hear that, go check out the Stradman's YouTube channel. Next up, we're going to talk about Zach Baldy. He did a video on 15 minutes of his Nissan Skyline GTS-T. In case you don't know, he owns a 1995 Nissan Skyline GTS-T, and he just he bought it to learn how to drive manual and also to be a drift car. And he did a video on we're actually at 6,000 feet. That won't matter. We'll fly quicker then. But we actually don't need a checklist anymore. We can turn that off. So he did a video detailing 15 minutes of building his Nissan Skyline GTS-T from buying it in Childers back in November 2019. So he's had it for almost a year, which is absolutely crazy. And then he couldn't get his manual license due to the situation that we're going through now. That is close to an end because I've heard you guys in North America may or may not be getting a vaccine before the election day, which my favourite artist has something to say about the election. He wants some sort in terms of voting. He wants Donald Trump out. He's definitely very political. That's a hint to who I like listening to nowadays. He's a bit political. And yeah, that's a hit to who I listen to. I won't unless I do a Q&A in the future, which I probably won't do. Until when I get like 1,000 subs, I might do like a Q&A or something like that. That might be cool. I won't say anything until we hit 1,000 subs, which might not be for a long time. My goal this year is 200 subscribers easily. If we could get that now, I'll keep doubling it, so 400, then probably 800. Because I want to really grow this YouTube channel. Even though this is not going to be my full-time job, because of the fact that I'm studying, and B, I'm probably going to full-time work. I'm definitely going to be going to full-time work. Hopefully, go to full-time work next year. And this will be a backup plan anyway if I don't get into that. So we're about 30 miles away. Can we contact the tower yet? Let's find out. We should be able to, because we're about 30 miles away. We should be in their airspace now. So we're looking for Astoria. No, we're not there yet. We'll keep an eye on it. We're not climbing anymore. We're going to stay around 7,000 feet. I was going to say 4,000 feet, but no, we're going a little bit higher. We're about 29 miles away from the airport. Yeah, so I've got it on live weather, but we're doing it about 10 AM because otherwise it'll be night time again, so I can cut. So yeah. So obviously you need to like keep the and obviously you can use your runners to turn around and everything like that, which is good. But yeah, this aircraft is that basic. That's why it's so easy to fly. That's why I'm starting with it, because it's the easy starting with Cessnas, because Cessnas are pretty easy to fly. Both hand flying and autopilot flying too. Even though I've had some issues with the Cessna 172 Skyhawk G1000 with autopilot, which I hope doesn't happen in the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we're flying nice and straight. We're flying nice and level. Like I said, this is the first time I've flown like a long flight, hand flying. I always do like this sort of rebel flight with autopilot and nav and GPS. And since so what heading are we? We're heading. Okay, we might not be a huge turn in to get into the runway. We'll find out when we get there. I'll tune into the radios when we get to 20 miles to the Astoria airport, regional airport, where we're going to land there. And yeah, so yeah, pretty basic tutorial how to fly this aircraft. Besides, if you've done the flight tutorials, you probably have flown this aircraft already. But I figured if you haven't, if you just gone straight to free flight and you want to learn how to fly this plane, hopefully this is a tutorial video for you. for you, or it won't be called. I won't label it as a tutorial, but just a regular flight. That's why it says like Cessna or November something flight from this to this in the Cessna 152. But yeah, if pretty much if an aircraft doesn't have autopilot, we will be flying, or GPS, like a GPS screen, we will be flying it manually and VFR. Because it doesn't make sense to fly VFR. Looks like we're going to another, so about 26 miles away. So I'm just basically staying around out here, and then we'll go ahead and then we'll get lined up ready for runway 26. And we get to fly here approach manually, because there's no approach like we did with the Cessna 182 last week. Which, if you are not subscribed yet and you missed the previous videos, I did my first video in the Airbus A320. That actually did surprisingly well, about 70 views. I think it's still climbing to this day. And my last video didn't do so well either. It did like 10. It got like 10 views. So about 50% of what my subscriber count. I'll say I'll actually watch my video. That's how good it is. Okay, we're gonna go left a little bit. We've had a little bit of a wind strike here. Let's make sure here, I think. So let's make sure we are flying tried and true to our heady right here. We're about 25 miles away. And yeah, so and next up, Street Speed 717 is Sally. Yes, that's right, Sally, for 2020 Chevrolet Corvette twin turbo C8 that he had built over the last 6 months. The reason why he's selling it, because he's buying a C2 Corvette, so he's going to be selling that to get that car. And he's also going to be selling, buying that car very soon, and he's also buying a C8 convertible in the next, dare I say, 2 months maybe. I think he'll be getting it in 2 months. The C8 Spider, he's going to get an Accelerate yellow one, which depends on the L1 might be no longer be blue anymore. He might run it black for a little bit, because the C7 in black looks very sinister. I wanted to run it in black, and if he wants to keep it black, he can keep it black. But I think he will wrap it in a different colour very soon. Because he's had that wrap on the ZL1 for nearly a year. So he's going to probably get rid of that wrap and probably change it to yellow. Which, I mean, if he wants to change it to yellow, he probably can return that one to stock, keep the parts, buy a yellow ZR1, like a Corvette Racing yellow ZR1, and put those on, and sell the black one. But no, I don't think he'll ever sell the black one. Because he loves that car too much. Because it's literally perfect. Alright, we're going to try and see if we can contact the tower now. We're looking for Kilo Alpha Sierra Tango for the KO code or ICAO code. However you pronounce it. We should be in the range for it now, because we're about 20 miles away. Still not there. That's interesting. Right, we're crossing a border here, as you can see. We're crossing, I think that's actually the actual I think the orange is where the control tower thing is. So now that we're crossing over, we might have to switch to a different frequency. So we're landing down there, looking down the coastline there. That'll be a nice landing. I think that, I don't know if it has a tower or not, or it's traffic. I hope it has a tower. Okay, it's lagging a little bit here because I think it's downloading some buildings down there. So I do apologise for the lag there. It looks, like you saw, it does clear up from time to time. But it's running a lot better now than it had about, dare I say, a week ago. Like, that flight was really lagging. Now I can fly. It does dip down in frame rate, but... And by the way, I do have 8 gigs of RAM on this computer, so, and it's DDR3. So if you have a pretty decent graphics card, and you have like a CPU that's probably at least 3 gigahertz, you will be fine with this game. Honestly, you'll be fine with this game. You'll be able to play it just fine. But if you don't, if you have a computer that's from like 2012, I would say. Yeah, I'd highly recommend upgrading it to a newer CPU, anything like that. My computer's from 2014. I've had it since 2014. The only thing I've done, only things I've done with to it. Let's see if I can find it now. Okay, no, still can't find it. That's interesting. Here we go, found it. Right, we got traffic. We are going to go select runway for landing. We are at heading. We'll go to the closest heading that we've got. We're going to go heading. Let's find out what we got. What our runway selections are. We can land runway 32 today. Well, I was going to say runway 26. We're going full stop landing. Right, we're going to announce the position.
Kilo Alpha Sierra Tango traffic Cessna November 714 X-ray X-ray 19 miles southeast 7,400 feet inbound to land runway 32.
Okay, there we go. We contacted traffic. As you can see, there's our pattern entry, so we're going to go follow that down to the runway. So we're going to start slowing down. So there we go. So make sure you fasten your seatbelts. I'll teach you how to land the this aircraft. So the descent speed apparently 52.8 knots, so it's not very fast at all. So we're going to start lining up to the runway and get landing. and fly the pattern down to land on runway 32. I was going to land on 26, but we're already at this heading anyway, so we might as well land runway 32, runway 26. Otherwise, I'll have to So let's go ahead and start landing this aircraft. I'm going to start slowing down now. So I'll start slowing down, just like that. But yeah, that was a pretty good flight. If you saw your house in Oregon, we didn't see much houses, but if you did see it, let me know down in the comments below. If you saw like some places that you knew where to live, knew how to live, yeah. And yeah, so let's go ahead and start landing this aircraft. I would love to see more YouTubers play this game. I mean, definitely. I've seen Jacksepticeye play it. PewDiePie has now played Microsoft Flight Simulator. Sips has played it, like Yogscast Sips, the Canadian that lives in Britain. He's played it, but it's and I've seen Captain Joe play it, and he flew this aircraft. I could have got his checklist, but it's like $6, so I can't be bothered. By spending, it's like $7. I mean, sure, $7 is $7 for everybody. Like, it's not much money, but I'd rather put that money elsewhere right now, especially in a couple of weeks. So we're going to start slowing down to like 52 knots, because we are going to start our descent into runway 32 and get landing ready for our taxi, and then our shut off. How to shut off the aircraft. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy this little mini tutorial flight. Obviously we did the tutorial, mostly the tutorial when we did the takeoff, and then it's just literally just hand flying the rest of the way because there's no autopilot in this aircraft at all. Once that's switched out, some volume slots. Alright, we're going to turn the landing lights on, so if we go here, we can click on landing lights, we'll turn them on. I don't think we really need them because it is daytime, but I'm turning them on anyway. So yeah, we're still on the green. Very beautiful sight here in Oregon. Oregon's definitely a beautiful place. That's where the Strandman was. That's where the Strandman grew up, was in Oregon. Now he lives in Utah with the Burlacker until he built his own house, which he's probably the only person who owns a Bugatti that doesn't own a house. So that's his prime possession. Now, the Aventador's now nothing to. Actually, no, the Aventador's not nothing to him. He's still going to keep the Aventador. So now he has 1 V10, 2 V8, 1 V6. 1 V10, a V12, 2 V8, 1 V6, and 1 W16. That's crazy to think about. All he needs now is a 4-cylinder, a 5-cylinder, and maybe a 3-cylinder. Like an i8, BMW i8 for a 3-cylinder, a 4-cylinder, maybe a WRX STI maybe, or something like that. He did have a 4-cylinder a while ago. He had a Ford Focus RS. And then he bought for his dog Oscar. But his dog did not like that car one bit. So I'm just going to keep slowing down a little bit. Start introducing some flaps. You press F7 for the flaps. We didn't even use flaps on takeoff. I just realised that. we probably won't even need to use. Some planes we will have to, but this plane I don't think we have to. So we'll just on our first notch of flaps, because so we can get the speed a bit slower for our approach into runway 32, which is right down there. Which I'm using the I think the approach the approach assist because I'm not that good at landings. If you've missed my Sydney flight, my last flight in prepared 3D version 5, which I'll still be playing that game on the channel in case there's a plane I can't fly in here. I just did a random selection. I will do a flight in P3D and Flight Simulator 10, and even the older ones like 2002 or 2004. Like say if I need to fly like a 737-400 or something like that, I will do that in 2002 or 2004 because they have those planes there. Because it's been a while since I played those games too, those Flight Simulators too. Or if I need to fly like an old-fashioned plane. So we're following these red boxes here to actually go and do the approach. It's up to you if you want this on. I find this very helpful, especially if you're new to flying. We're at 4,000 feet. We're probably 1,000 feet too high. And we're just going to keep slowing down until they turn blue. Like, close to idle for landing. Yeah, seems reasonable. Okay, we're doing about 80 knots. So we rotate about 50 knots, so that's when we want to stay close to. I think that's too little power. Let's go boost it a little bit whilst we do it. I don't mind. I mean, yeah. So, yeah. Alright, we're lining up for the approach now to go into runway 32, which is all the way down there. I think I can see it just in the... So now we can announce that we're on final.
Kilo Alpha Sierra Tango traffic Cessna November 714.
And I've noticed too...
Final runway 32 to land.
Right. Another notch of flaps, so we can keep the speed low. Because it's going to tell me in a minute that I'm going too fast. Because we need to stay around 50 knots for the descent. It is a long descent. Yeah. So it's going to go to idle so I can quickly make it 52 knots. Okay, line up with destination runway, which we have. In a way, we're still going too fast. We're doing like 60 knots. I have no throttle on at all. So if we crash and die, we crash and die. Let's go. I don't mind. Yeah, it's not turning blue in a hurry yet. We're just going to go a little bit faster. I'm just going to ignore that. But if this was real life, we'll be going 50 knots. But I highly recommend if you're doing a long approach like this. Alright, we're just going to up the speed a little bit so we can get down a bit quicker. And we won't stall out or anything like that. That's why we're going to stick around 70 knots, which is what some of our general aviation aircraft does. Yeah, we're just ignore the fact that we're going too fast because we're quite a while away. Okay, I think we've got full flaps now. Yeah, we have full flaps. And we haven't taken a photo. Dang it. I guess I could quickly take a photo whilst we're in the descent. So I think I'm going to quickly turn this off. Give me a second. I was going to quickly turn this off and I'm going to take a quick photo. Nav aids, that's what we do. We have the landing path on. We'll turn that off for a temporary thing. I'm going to plug in my controller so we can do a quick drone mode photo of landing this aircraft. We'll just put it on, toggle it on live pause while I do that so we don't stall out. If it does want to connect, that'll be great. There we go. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to apply and save that for now. Whilst I jump into drone mode. There we go. And take a good photo of our aircraft landing. There we go. Perfect. And now we can go back into the cockpit and land this aircraft. There we go. Perfect. Oh, we've lost it. Now we can turn on the back to the landing path back on. Yeah, applied save. There we go. That's better. So we got the screenshot taken. Now we're just going to keep this ending. We're going to slow down. We can slow down now. I feel like we'd be good to slow down about here-ish. Because that is a very long approach to have. So we're too fast still. We're just going to go ahead and get our speed down. If we pitch the aircraft up a little bit, we can get our speed down to like 50 knots. Yeah, there we go. And hold it about there. Let's use the throttle just to keep the speed there. And let's land this aircraft. Oh, okay, we're too fast again. Hang on. Let's just slow it down a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Right, where we go, we are landing this aircraft right now. I was going to have it about here. You can see the runway. We're about 5 miles away from the runway. From runway 32. Okay, we've lined up with the runway pretty well. We're just going to keep descending and then we will land here. And then we'll taxi off the runway and then we will wrap it up there. So that's how easy it is to fly for Cessna 152. There's no, obviously, no, I was going to keep it around 50 knots. So I was just literally just bombing it up and down so we can keep the same speed here. So if you want to see like a more in-depth, tutorial, I highly recommend checking out Captain Joe's video when he was in St. Bath with the 152. I'm just going to pitch down a little bit. We're actually going a little bit too slow here. There we go, perfect. Now we're going too fast. I mean, that's probably about the right speed there. There we go. Let's go back there. Not too slow. I'll just go right in the middle of the green square there. So I'd say aim for the green square, like in the middle there, just between the, like you have to mark there. Okay, we're going too fast. We're just stalled out a little bit. So I aim when you're landing this aircraft, I aim for the middle of the second green square. Like that's between 40 and that's between 50 and 60. That's about 55, I reckon. No, that's between 40 and 50. That's probably between 45 and 50. 45 to 50 knots. So I aim there, and then we'll just let the aircraft glide down itself. We probably did the flaps a little bit too early, but that's okay. We just need to obviously introduce some more power. So that's what you do. So we're still lined up with the destination runway. We're about 3 miles from landing. So just need to make sure we stay in the air for a little bit longer, otherwise we'll crash into the water. But we're probably doing pretty well. So yeah, so that's what you do when you're landing this aircraft, is you aim for the second green square. And right in the middle of that will let you land the aircraft. Like we're going a little bit slow here, we then just drop, and then if you are going a little bit slow, just drop the nose a little bit, then bring it back up. So yeah, just aim for that, then you'll have a pretty good approach. Which we are actually not having a bad approach at all. So we're about 3 miles away from the airport. Let's make sure we have the thing set. But yeah, I went too fast. Let's bring the nose up to slow down the aircraft. There we go. We've got a couple more squares to go. You can see the runway. We're actually not too bad on the approach. I can't see any puppy lights at all. I don't think there's any puppy lights on the aircraft. Not on the aircraft, on the airport. But yeah. So that's how it's done. Just yeah, aim for the second green square. Like that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm making sure we're not going too fast or too slow. Second green square right in the middle is the perfect speed for landing. Right, now we're going to switch. Switch to that. I wasn't here. We're aiming for the second notch here, right here. Right, we're going to switch to the landing view so we can see how good the thing is. We're going about 1600 RPM. We'll put it onto idle when we're close to our landing. Right. I'm just going to raise it a little bit. There we go. That's not too bad. That's actually not very bad at all. There's the runway there. So once we get past the thing, I'm going to slowly bring back the throttle. It's going to move my controller over here, and I'm going to slowly bring the aircraft back to idle. So sorry about that. I'm pretty awkward angle here. because I need 2 hands to do this. Oh, we go too slow. Hang up, bring the throttle up. We're going a little bit too slow. It's going to speed up a little bit. There we go. Right, there we go. Perfect. So now we don't have a very good puppy lights. It's 4.4. That's okay. So now we're going to drop the throttle to idle. Start going onto the runway. Make sure we're in the middle. Okay, now we've got 3. There we go. Perfect. Oh, not perfect. Not perfect at all. Let's just go up a little bit. And then touchdown, like so. There we go. Easy peasy. We have landed on the runway. 3, 2. We're going to slow down the aircraft right now. And that's how easy it is. Now we have to exit the runway somewhere. And there we go. That's how easy it is to fly a Cessna 152. So now we're going to go take it to the parking spot, which I believe will be down here somewhere. I was going to find out where to exit the runway now. Let's go back in the cockpit then. There we go. That's not too hard. Let's put the flaps back up. Just like so. Pressing F5 will get your flaps back up if you're using a keyboard. I believe this is the next taxiway here. As you can see the yellow there. That's for your taxiway. And we're going to turn left, go park, and then we've done it. We've done our flight. We've done our flight for today, which is fantastic. Very easy to fly this plane. It's a bit hard. We had to concentrate more because obviously we have to find out how. There we go. We've exited the runway. Right, now so we've cleared the runway.
Kilo Alpha Sierra Tango traffic Cessna November 714 X-ray is clear of the runway.
Alright, we're going to go towards the destination now. I don't know where we're going to taxi to. I'm guessing over here. I don't know where to taxi to. I'm guessing over here where there's no aircraft there, you got like the pushback person and everything like that. I'm guessing that's where I'm going. There we go. We've made it. So there we go. If you if that's how you fly the Cessna 152, that is the regular 152. We'll be doing the air back. Okay, here we go. It's supposed me to park here. There we go. Just like that. Right, so we put the parking brake on now. Just like that. And let's walk through how to shut off the aircraft. So what I do is take the mixture out. Cut off the fuel. It starts stalling out. You can see right there. And then you flick off all the lights that you don't need. Beacon lights, strobe lights. Turn the alternator off. Turn the key. Oops. Turn that off. Turn the fuel shut off valve on, which is down here. So close that. Close the valve. And then, yeah. And then turn the battery off. And then you shut off the aircraft. That's how easy it is. Just like that. Alright, that took us 37 minutes to fly. That's not too bad. It was going to take me like 30 minutes according to the game. But that's how you do it. That's the first aircraft of the tutorial series slash flying all the aircraft in the game. So that's the Cessna 152. We'll be flying the Aerobat edition of the Cessna 152 next week. So stay tuned for that. We flew from Hillsboro, I think it's Hillsboro, no, what's it called? Portland to Astoria. So there we go, that's done. That was so much fun to fly. I mean, I absolutely love flying the Cessna 152. It's such an fun aircraft to fly. And yeah. Well, there we go, guys. I hope you have enjoyed that video of flying the Cessna 152 regular from down here in Hillsboro. Is that Hillsboro? Portland, well, not that one. Hillsboro, I got it right, to Astoria. If you want to do that flight yourself, I'm just following the flight plan I've put in. And also fly the aircraft, so you can learn how to fly the aircraft and everything like that. I highly recommend flying the aircraft if you're into general aviation. That's so far the best general aviation aircraft I've flown. Then again, the Cessna 182 wasn't too bad. Well, anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video of the Microsoft Flight Simulator Cessna 152 flight. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button down below. If you're stopping by for the first time, please subscribe. Next week, we'll be flying the Aerobat edition. See if it's any different between the 152 and the 152 Aerobat. Because I want to feature every single aircraft in this game at least once. So, make sure you tune into that. But for now, that's it from me. Take care, have a good one. Bye-bye.